dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. An unusually strong storm system is brewing and it's headed our way. Meteorologist Shane Smith is here to tell us about the updated severe weather threats. Shane, what can we expect?
Well, Keaton, right now we are nice and dry across the mountains of eastern Kentucky. It's a humid evening out there. Let's take a look at what's going on as we go to our weather cam network. Lake Cumberland down in Pulaski County. A great night to be out on the lake as temperatures are into the upper 60s. It's 86 right now, Somerset and Williamsburg, 88 London, Manchester, 86 here in the Hazard and up the road in Jackson, 82 Moorhead, 85 in Prestonsburg. Did have a few showers early this morning. Those are rolling out to the east, but more storms are developing off to the west. In fact, notice a few tornado warnings back up into northwestern Illinois. That's part of an area of low pressure, which is diving down. That's the storm system you mentioned, Keaton, just a few minutes ago. It is heading our way. Tonight, we should be mainly dry. There is a very small risk of severe weather tonight if we see a storm or two pop up. But right now, what I'm seeing with the radar trends, we should be nice and dry for most of the evening and overnight. But tomorrow, as that low pressure dives in, we are under a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather. The enhanced being a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. And we could see some areas with damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. In fact, that red there for the Big Sandy Valley, that's at least a 30% chance of damaging winds. So we are declaring tomorrow a first alert weather day. If you haven't already done so, scan that QR code and download the WYMT First Alert Weather app. We can provide you severe weather warnings as they happen, tailored to your location to keep you ahead of the storm. We're going to talk more about the timing of the storms and look at the potential of when they'll hit using Future View. That's coming up in a few minutes, Keaton.
All right, thanks, Shane. One man is dead following a UTV crash in Breathitt County. It happened at about 4 p.m. yesterday. Kentucky State Police said Kenneth White, 66 years old of Lost Creek, lost control of a side-by-side and struck a tree. White was transported to Kentucky River Medical Center, where he later died. His body was taken to the medical examiner's office for autopsy and toxicology. Police say no seatbelts or helmets were worn at the time of the crash. Kentucky State Police is continuing the investigation. A teenager has died after officials say they drowned in Laurel County. The London Laurel Rescue Squad say they responded to a possible drowning near B Rock Trail around 4:45 yesterday. They say an 18-year-old from Pulaski County reportedly went underwater while swimming and didn't resurface for some time. After searching the area, rescue squad divers found the teen's body. Officials have not released their name at this time. Crews battled an overnight fire in Pulaski County. The Burnside Fire Department responded to a fire that broke out at the old Tri-County Flea Market, also known as the Barn. Fire crews, along with Somerset Pulaski County Special Response, were on the scene for 6 hours, putting out the blaze. According to the Commonwealth Journal, South US 27 was closed for several hours due to the fire. Chief James Martin told the paper no one was injured in the incident. Kentucky State Police are investigating a deadly crash. KSB says they received a call from the Whitley County Sheriff's Office yesterday afternoon regarding a two-vehicle deadly crash. Police say it happened at the intersection of US 25 West and Falls Creek Road. Their early investigation shows Charles Robinson pulled out onto US 25 when Sandy Harp, who was traveling south, hit him. Her passenger, Florence Neal, died at the scene. Harp and 2 others were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. One Eastern Kentucky library received an inaugural award for defying the odds. WYMT's RJ Johnson shows how important this award is for the community.
For some folks, libraries in small towns serve as safe havens. That is no different for the Breathitt County Public Library.
The building is the building, but the library is the people. My staff, board of directors, the community. A library is about people, and that's why we thrive in Eastern Kentucky. Every library in Eastern Kentucky thrives because we understand it's about people first and foremost.
Executive Director Stephen Bowling says being a resource during the pandemic and back-to-back floods is how they served the community for nearly 3 years.
So that gave us a unique opportunity to serve our community, and we saw that opportunity. We opened our doors during the flooding. We allowed FEMA, we allowed other agencies to use our building for almost 6 months.
To help serve Breathitt County.
And we were very fortunate to have the facilities to do that because over the years the people of Breathitt County have supported the library. Our elected officials have supported the library, and they've given us the opportunity to do those things to serve the community.
He says because of that, they won the inaugural Defying the Odds Award from the Library Journal and Gale.
The award itself is an affirmation of what we're doing. It tells us that what we're doing is right. It's right for the community. It is right for the people that we serve. So that's why we're very happy.
However, he says they are not done.
You know, everybody likes every now and then to have a pat on the back to say, good job, you're doing you know, what we need in the community. So that was for us an affirmation that the course that we're on, the direction that public libraries in Kentucky in general are on, is the correct course, and we're moving in the right direction.
In Breathitt County, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Bowling says the award also comes with a grant that they will use to repair flooring and the roof that was damaged in the floods. Some of Lexington's most deserving public servants were recognized last night at Kroger Field. They were honored at the inaugural Unsung Heroes Ball. Event coordinator Jessica Bowman says she and her Leadership Lexington class were inspired to host the ball after seeing community members support each other during the pandemic. Lexington firefighter Martin Ashford was nominated as an unsung hero, and he says while it feels rewarding to be recognized, he finds joy in helping others.
We do hard work, you know, whether it's for our profession or just voluntary. You know, you do it for the love of those people you want to help.
7 Unsung Hero Awards were given out, highlighting everyone from educators to hospital staff. Well, students across the Commonwealth are preparing to head back to school in the coming weeks. While some children are excited to get back into the classroom, others are nervous. Samantha Valentino is sitting down with a Lexington psychologist to get some tips on how to ease your child's back to school anxiety.
It is that time of year in my practice where there's a lot of discussion about back to school jitters.
Experts such as Dr. Catherine Stone say getting butterflies ahead of the first day of school is normal.
What I try to remind kids is that most everybody feels a little nervous before school started, that their parents did, even their teachers did, and the kids did.
But for some students, back to school anxieties go beyond a couple butterflies.
If you're starting to already hear your kid refuse going to school, if even the mention of driving past the school or going on the playground causes distress, if you're starting to see a lot of sleep disturbance, then you know you may be dealing with a little bit more than your typical preschool jitters.
So what should parents do to support their children?
It's open up the dialogue with your kids about how they feel about going back to school. What I like to do with my clients is say, what are you excited about with going back to school, and what are you a little nervous about, or what do you dread? Because that way you have the balance of both.
Dr. Stone says the biggest thing is making sure your child feels heard.
If you don't hear them, they're just going to keep upping the symptoms until they feel heard. If your kid does come to you and say, I'm really nervous, I don't want to go to school, this is going to be awful, stop and validate. Say, oh gosh, tell me more, I want to hear about it, and let them get that off their chest.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WQIT.
Dr. Stone says scheduling a visit with your child's teacher or even taking them to play on the school's playground can help ease your child's nerves and make them more comfortable at their school. Well, people in Manchester had a new way to learn about a forgotten time in history this weekend. The first ever Renaissance Fair took place at Saltworks Village, and people were able to shop for crafts and time period pieces, learn about herbs and remedies, and also see jousting fight reenactments. Noelle Wilson, who started the fair, says she's going to make this a yearly event since there's nothing like it in eastern Kentucky.
The Renaissance fairs have been something that I've always been interested in. So when I started this, I thought, you know, the nearest ones to our county, there's 3, the one in Ohio, the one in Eminence, Kentucky, and the one in Indiana.
Wilson also says there has been positive feedback since this is something people don't usually see in this area, and they're excited to return next year. Well, today is the first day of Kentucky Farmers Market Week. Commissioner of Agriculture Dr. Ryan Quarles is inviting folks from across the state to participate. The event will feature over 170 farmers markets in 115 counties. In those 170 markets, more than 2,400 vendors will offer fresh farm products for sale. A handful of Eastern Kentucky farmers markets are going to be featured. If you want to find one near you, you can visit kyproud.com. In the summer months, everyone's doing their best to soak up some extra warmth outside, but there could be a risk hiding in tall grass, and it packs a strong bite. Americans notice a surge of tick bites in the summer thanks to the extra time outdoors, and a new report released by the CDC says a new syndrome adds a new syndrome to the potential list of risks. Red meat allergy syndrome can arise when you're bitten by a Lone Star tick. Your body then can experience an allergy to red meat.
More people are impacted by it than we previously thought. It's something that's still relatively new, only really been talked about since like 2010 thereabouts. We're starting to learn more and more about it. Allergists are studying it and figuring out exactly how widespread it is.
So make sure once you're done enjoying the summer sun, you give yourself a tick check to stay safe from those tiny tick bites. Coming up at 6, a presidential nominee calls Trump a bad Republican. Find out more about that next conversation.
And we continue to track the threat of severe weather for your Monday, a breakdown of what to expect on the other side of the break.